Hello and welcome to 4,000 and Counting, brought to you by Hurricane e-bikes. Go check them out at hurricane.bike right now. I'm Watty, and I'm joined by my former teammate and former guest, Mr. Shaun Thompson. Taurus PT himself sat there like he's got his branding going today. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. It's good to be back, man. It was a long time ago, wasn't it? Long time. One of the first ones.
It was an early doors episode, and we've come a long way from there. We've even had some no swearing episodes and everything since then. It's
No
been
way.
great, yeah.
I remember that was the first thing my mum said because I know she listened. She was like, "Oh, there was an awful lot of swearing, wasn't there?" I was like, "Sorry, mum."
Sorry, sorry, Carol. My bad. This one won't be. This one won't be as bad. No, the funnily enough, the non-swearing ones were the ones we did with Myers at the Ozone.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the Kirky one that went out on Friday. I thought, there's gonna be a lot of kids that are gonna want to listen to the Kirky one.
Yeah,
I'm not.
sure.
I'm not going to completely change what we do or who we are or change who I am for the podcast so kids can listen. This isn't a kids podcast, but I also respect the fact that when you get to have a long form conversation with someone like Kirky, then the kids need to hear it. So maybe we can wind it in a little bit, and it's less about story time for the boys and more about education and talking about development and national league and import numbers and stuff like that. And that's why we've got you on today, because you've had some interesting takes, and I think you might upset the apple cart a little bit today, Tomo. But let's have it, mate. What do you, first of all, Elite League numbers going to 15. That's 11 less roster spots for Brits. What do you make of the Elite League going to 15, first of all?
The thing is everybody's allowed the right the right to their own opinion on whether it's going to affect British players or not, because in a way, yes, it will, and in a way, no, it won't. But what I've learned from where I am now with my coaching and from my playing days is I realize a lot of the problems I had, that why I didn't reach where I potentially should have gone, was myself.
Yep.
And
yep.
And I used to, it was very easy to point fingers, right? It was easy to point fingers at a coach, or, well, nobody's telling me what to do, nobody's telling me how to work out. But ultimately, that was on me. I could have massively changed that. So, the most times I developed in my hockey was when I played or when I was around imports.
Yeah.
When I was a junior, we always had an import on the ice that was helping coaching. It wasn't often a Brit; it was an import, and I learned a lot from them. When we played at Elite League, we were surrounded by imports. Our game was improved
100%.
because of those. And you and I started pro, I think, at the same time. I know I was a year younger than you, but
all right. Get that cheeky little dig in there.
Yeah,
we're getting old, basically. People, this is
what it is.
We weren't grey. We weren't grey back then. We were like chasing Lucasades and all sorts of stuff around.
Yeah, I had to get rid of my greys the other day. I could see them in the beard. But yeah, we sat on the bench. So I know I rode the pile a lot to start off with. But what I was gaining from the training and the experience of being on the bench and watching guys. The coaches at juniors used to say, "Hey, just pick a guy, pick a sentiment, watch him. If you can't get on the ice, watch him." And that's what I wanted to kind of cover today a little bit. Is just that it's the onus on the individual, maybe the parents to support that as well. But I think it's limiting spaces, but it's making more competitive. So the Brits should step up their game. The younger Brits should, that are good enough, or even just general the Brits that are there that might have a risk of losing their spot. It's an opportunity to either up their game or step down because you don't want to compete for a spot.
Yeah. I mean, you got guys in that league that are be bona fide first names on your team sheet. You got like your Josh Wallers and stuff. They're going nowhere. People are going to be trying to make a break. Maybe like Alex Graham, he's a potential to go full time in the Elite League next year. Maybe he stays one more year and does the two-way. I'm not sure, but someone like that, he's going to be knocking down the door for a spot, which again is going to take another one of those Brits jobs that are there now, and that's a Brit taking a Brit's job. I mean, it doesn't matter where you look at. You talked about taking it more seriously. Well, it's no secret. Like throughout our Basingstoke days, we were on the Greg Chambers deal. Like he had Nando's, he had the cinema, he had fucking nightclubs and Subway, anything you wanted, we had it, and we had fun, and we probably abused it a little bit more than we should. Chicago Mondays, Liquid Wednesdays, Thursdays,
Yeah.
Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays.
Yeah.
But then I go to Bracknell and I start working. Mate, I got up to the 23% body fat. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And I started seeing a PT. I started to see Dave. And in that off season, I went from 23% body fat to 6% body fat. Nobody did the work for me. I had a good PT, don't get me wrong, but I had to put the fucking work in. And that was in the space of 5 months. I had 65 and 62 points or something in those 2 seasons that followed that. And again, the second part of that being I was playing with 2 imports, 2 very good imports, and we complemented each other and ended up being one of the best lines in the league. And that was no doubt down to my nutrition, taking it more seriously, treating it as a job and a profession, and then getting to play with 2 really, really good players on top of that.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. It should be seen, right? And if we're talking young Brits coming up, there should be that desire to want to be in that lineup. And I get it; it's hard. If you're sitting on the bench, if you are chipping the puck in and out, and not necessarily playing the role that you want to play, it is difficult and it can be frustrating. It was a big reason why I decided to step down.
Snap.
I just wanted to play hockey, and I wanted to play the hockey that I loved, which was my style.
Reps on the puck, right? You want to touch the fucking puck. You don't want to just be chucking that thing in the corner.
Yeah, and you know what? Players. We look at Sean Norris, right? I know he's still quite a young guy, but young guys for us back in the day was 16 to 18. Whereas now players are taking a slightly longer route, and what players like Sean, even like Kieran Long, what they're showing is that it's still possible if you still want it enough. You don't have to go up too early. You can play national. 3 imports is going to massively change the league over 2, and if they went to 4, it'd massively change it over 3. It will massively change the level and the quality. I can't wait to see the power plays in the national next year, especially teams like Swindon.
Yes.
It's going to be a massive game changer. It's going to be a huge tactical thing going from 2 to 3. But yeah, it's the opportunities are still there. It's finding that extra bit. How can I do more to earn my right at the highest level, if that is what I want to do? And I think a lot of players are starting to see that now. What you're saying with Kirky coming on, he's proven that it is possible.
Oh yeah.
And that should excite a lot of British players. Mizey, what he's doing at the Ozone's fantastic. I'm hoping to do some teaming up there with him as well.
That'd be good.
And it's just there are good people, and there are good people looking to help. But even still, the biggest thing I can give any player is you've got to be able to help yourself.
Yeah, you got to be self-motivated and self-disciplined. And motivation and discipline are different, and we'll tell you that doing our job. Like, I'll go back to as early as yesterday. I could not be fucked to train. I had 4 hours in the gym working for them, 6 hours working for myself, podcast, dog walks, blah, 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 blah. 7 a.m. start, 9:30 p.m. finish. Do I want to train? No. Was I motivated to train? No. Did I train? Yes. That's the difference. And you don't have to be, and you guys got the added bonus of being motivated to be a hockey player still. That's long gone for me. It was a lot easier to motivate myself when I knew I had to be strong, and I might potentially fight Pyatt at the weekend. That'll make you go to the gym.
Yeah.
That'll make you go to the gym and make sure you're getting your reps in, because you don't want to be lying on your back in front of 3,000 people. That's not very fun. Whatever it is to get you motivated, do it. But when you're not motivated, just be disciplined. And even if that discipline wavers a little bit, you normally go to the gym 5-6 days a week. Now you just manage 3-4, but you put an extra walk in, or you were extra careful on your nutrition that week. However, whatever you did, there's little wins to be had all the way along.
Yeah.
It's going to make you better.
What got me the most though about the whole situation with the imports in both leagues was the leagues have done it for a progression to sport, right? They haven't done it to annoy people. They haven't done it to wind anybody up. They've done it as a progression. But straight away it was victim mentality, and that's what I call it. It's the kind of like the poor me approach. Now, obviously there's been a lot of uproar about the import goalie in the national. Nobody signed an import goalie. Nobody signed anybody yet.
As of yet.
As of yet, nobody signed anybody. So, but automatically straight away we go to kind of defense mode, right? What about the goalies? What about the goalies? There might not be any. It might not be an issue. I personally feel a couple of teams should. That's with playing with import goalies and how much of a huge help that can be. You know, if you only need to score 2 or 3 goals a night.
Sorry, you was there in Bainstoke when Hudlowski was there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. There's some good goalies in the National League. Name me one that's as good as him.
Yeah. But if you only have to score 2 or 3 goals a night, is that not exciting to you?
Yeah. Well, you asked Belfast right now. Besco came in and went 145 goals against average for the last 26 games of the season and led them to three titles. And by the way, that's no knock on our boy Jackson. Jackson was lights out this year as well. That just shows you how good Besco was, that he came in and kept the net off of a hot Jackson whistle. Like, it wasn't like Jackson was playing bad at all. Besco just came in and was just like, okay, no one could score against him. Yeah. This is a joke. This is the elite league, and no one. He was not even 2 goals a game. Yeah. How that meaning if you score 2 or 3 goals every night, you're going to win a game.
Yeah, but you ask any top coach, any top leader, how do you win trophies? How do you win championships?
Defense.
Yeah, and it starts with if your goalie is confident and strong. I remember when we won the double with Nathan Craze, we won it purely because him. We had good players, we had a good team, but he just allowed us to play. We knew we were safe. If we tried something and it didn't quite work out, that's fine. Nathan will pick it up for us.
He
was happy with that. He was happy with that, and it does. It makes a massive difference. And again, a brick goalie. You know, it was a top brick goalie. You know, so it is possible for these goalies to come up and take that number 1 spot, because I don't see teams like Leeds changing from Gospel. I don't see the Mar brothers losing their spots. So, you know, there is this possibility that, you know, these young British goalies can still make it. And if they now utilize the expertise of the import, watching him play, if they have the privilege of being a backup to them, they're going to learn so much that when they hit the crease and they get their opportunity, like that Tyler lad from Romford, am I right?
Tyler's in Peterborough, sorry.
Patouche.
Yeah, he's in
Peterborough. So, you know, young goalie that got his chance. You know, if he's been learning from more experienced goalies, he's going to have a better opportunity when he steps into that net consistently to hold his spot. You know, Boundsy had to do it at points as well, and it's an opportunity.
Boundsy would have backed up Passy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he would have sat, you know, a long time, and then he started and got his spot at the Steel Dogs eventually, and then Hull took a shot on him. You know, and the rest is history. And that's all it takes, right? Is being prepared, being ready, doing the stuff. You spoke earlier about you know, going to the gym. I went to the gym. I was still overweight. I was still slow. You know, because I wasn't concentrating on the sleep element, the nutrition element, the belief, the actual belief that I could do it, that it was possible. There was many other mental factors that, you know, affected where I went in the end, but that's why I'm sitting here now talking to you about it, because, you know, I learned from my mistakes.
So the import numbers have gone to 3. The goalies have gone to a potential stage where we could end up with some import goalies. We've both played against import goalies as forwards. Let's have a look at it from that aspect, not just from the blocking the goalies development aspect.
Yep.
How nice was it to snipe an import netty? Always nice. If you got a fucking hattie against an import netty, you were happy when you went home that night, like big time happy. Like it was a test, because there were some good ones. There were some really good ones, and it changed everything. Like you said about like when you played in front of Crazy. No, he's not an import, but all of a sudden your D are just that little bit better. Well, when you got an import goalie, the other team's D got better. It was harder to score. So when you did score, it was better. I don't know. It was just an exciting feeling.
But that goes back to that leveling up, right? And stepping up your game, because you know you've got to work harder to try and keep your goal level higher. You know, as a forward trying to score goals, it was frustrating because, you know, then your confidence starts going, right? If your stats aren't up like they were the year before, you know, there's a huge factor behind it. You know, even like, I know, again, not an import, but pretty much. But when Stevie Lyle came down, some of my fondest goals was when I scored against him, and I
Yeah.
still remember them because, like, you know, he was a hero growing up for us, you know, and to be able to score against your heroes who are top level goalies, then your confidence starts rising as well. So it's, like I said, it's only going to bring a better level, more confidence, more opportunities for the players that want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%, it makes you work harder.
Do you think the goalies have a right to be pissed off, or do you think let's have a fight for your position here, boys? And because no one's saying that we've got bad Brit goalies. Nobody's come out and said it's not like the league have come out and said, right, you lot are shit. Like, we need import goalies. They haven't said that. They have not said that. They've just said, look, you have it's equal rights, equal lefts. Yeah, you can have these, you can have forwards, you can have goalies. We're not gonna put any blocks in on who you can sign or who can be on the ice. You guys can go out, you can sign a goalie, D-man, forward, you can sign 3 forwards, you can do what you like. You can have more on the ice at the same time. Do you think the goalies have a right to be pissed off, or do you think fight for your spot, boys?
Yeah, I do believe they do have a right to be upset because there's 2 spots and really only 1 on each team. Because as you know, in the National League, backups don't get much of a sniff. So yeah, they're right to be a little bit miffed. But at the same time, in a sense, if we're looking at like spots being taken, one, we've said that there is no import signed yet, so there may not be that issue. Teams may go the approach of like, we're going to go 3 import forwards and we're going to score goals. But then isn't, you know, in a sense, then isn't Gospel and Mar taking number 1 spots from young Brits?
Yeah,
if we use that,
where does it stop? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because it's the same thing. You're just bringing in who you feel is the best person for that job. You just now have a higher pool of players to choose from. And yeah, okay, if I was a young goalie on the doorstep of a number 1, I'd be annoyed. But then you have 2 choices, right? You either work and you prove yourself,
or you pack your tent.
Or you pack your tent and you step down and you do what I did and go and play hockey at a lower level, which is fine. It's not a problem. You just make a choice. But when the choice comes to the working hard, like you said, it's a big package. It isn't just training and working really hard on training. There's a lot more to it. So yeah, it's that choice option. You either work and you fight for your spot, or you step down and enjoy hockey at a lower level and be number 1.
We are very, very happy to announce that Hurricane e-bikes are now our title sponsor for 4,000 and Counting podcast. Hurricane e-bikes are the subscription pay-as-you-go e-bike service. You can swap them out anytime, change them. You get spare tires. You don't have to be locked into a long-term deal. They come out, they service your bikes. That even includes like wear and tear. You get a lifetime warranty with one of the Hurricane e-bikes, which is amazing. They start from as little as £1.85 per day. Includes a lock as well. Like, the website's very good. If you head over to hurricane.bike, so that is HURRECANE.bike. You'll be able to go onto the website. How it works: you select your bike, you then add your accessories, whether you want helmets, locks, etc. Confirm your details, and it's simple as that. It'll be on its way to you. They have a few options available. They have a few different color options available. They have the Freedom 400 step through. They have the Freedom 410 hybrid, the Freedom 420 hybrid. Then they've got some really cool looking F220 fat bikes. They're awesome. Are that in black. They've got that in purple. They got their H250 cruiser bike. Again, looks really, really cool. And then these are my favorite ones. I'm guessing these are probably going to be the most expensive ones, but my favorite ones: the M250 mountain bike. Pedal assist levels 5. So if you've got bad knees or bad back, but you still want to get out on your bike, that is the way to do it. You've got the M350 mountain bike. That's for off-roading. Any of you guys that want to get out in the hills, out in the mountains, down the paths, get involved in some fun stuff. That is also pedal assist 5. So it helps anybody that's got injuries. And even if you're not injured, you just want to get out, you want to zip around, have some fun. I've rode these bikes at the Ozone tournament. They are great fun. And finally, you have the RS8 e-bike off-road. That comes in like a matte black. Absolutely cool. Lifetime warranty for all bikes, for your LCD screens, for your batteries, for your motor, all the components. No expensive bills come in later on. put everything together, no servicing costs, no need to buy, no interest costs, no long-term agreement, no maintenance costs, no worries, lifetime warranty. So head to Hurricane e-bikes and check out our new sponsor. That's the right way. Okay. Who do you think will go with a import netminder? Obviously, Slava's notoriously liked an import netty, but it looks like Marzi's already re-signed.
Yeah,
he's not re-signing to be a backup to a fucking import. I can tell you that for nothing. So either something would have to change where Slava brings an import in and Marzi's like, yeah, bye, or he doesn't go with one. Bees, I think that's a potential with Gossi gone. Smittle's already there. He's kind of been sharing a role. That could be a potential with Gabaj having the European connection. Do you think that's maybe an option?
Yeah, I was actually talking about Peterborough and Slava the other day, and they're saying that he won't be afraid. Whether he does it straight away, but there will certainly be a little bit more pressure on Marzi, in my opinion. Just as you say, knowing what we know from Slava, he won't be afraid to play the import goalie card. He's done it many times before. But at the same time, I think they've got more than suitable number one there. Yeah. He's proven that with the trophies he's won. So, yeah, to be honest, it wouldn't shock me more so the three teams that finished at the bottom, Bees, Hull and Bristol. I don't really know Hull's and Bristol's goalies too much, but just the fact of their position in the league, that it will offer them a competitive edge, making it harder to score against.
Yeah.
Whereas teams up the top, like your Leeds and Swindon and Peterboroughs with the Brit number one, I wouldn't be surprised if they stack up three at the top. But it will be interesting because when I think it was Manchester that one season went to import D and won.
So hard. That season was brutal. They had Schnabel and was it Matteson?
They had that Harabin as well.
That year as well. He was good. Yeah. But that was what I was going to say when you talk about Leeds. Obviously, they got Gospel. They're not going to change their goalie. But if there was one team that an import netminder's perfect for, would be Leeds, because you've already got Kieran Brown. There's an import. You've already got Matt Hayward. There's an import. You've already got Matt Howlett. There's an import. So you've technically got 3 import level forwards before you've actually added any imports. You can then add your imports to that. So a goalie at the back, they'd be unbeatable.
Well, but then with Gospel, then you've got
that anyway.
To go to import D.
Yeah, you could. Like, there's so much they could do, and obviously we're just speculating here. But there's going to be a time where maybe Marzi steps away. Slava will go with an import goalie, I believe, if he's allowed. Swindon have done it before. When I was there with Adi Kudra, he had a really good time in the Elite League. Then he came down. I thought he was good on some nights and he was horrendous on others. It wasn't worth an import spot, in my opinion. A Brick could have done what he did.
Yeah.
Whereas there's been other import. Remember that kid that Guildford brung in, the Slovak kid?
Yeah.
He was different gravy. He just came straight out of the Slovak Extra League. Just come down to the EPL. He was like, what's going on here? Like, no pit stop in the Elite League or nothing, just straight in. You were getting to play against top level professionals. You got to remember, these guys have been pros for years, like proper pros, i.e. Elite League type schedules or worse, or, as opposed to stepping up from NIHL to NIHL 1. These guys have been playing against guys that were in the SHL, the KHL, the NHL. Like they've already been doing that for years and years and years. So to then have to shoot against them and score against them, it's a much tougher task.
Even in training as well, though.
Yeah.
You have to bear down in training to try and score against these guys. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see what approach teams take, because it is more of a tactical element. Whereas initially with the one on, you can only have one on. It was pretty simple. You get 2 forwards or 2D. Like it was too complicated. Otherwise, it didn't work. And then when they went 2 on the ice, I think a lot of them still went 2 forwards.
Everybody went 2 forwards this year. Yeah,
2 forwards. Yeah. Now at 3. It does change what is going to work, because nobody spoke about British D-men. Teams could go 1 or 2 imports. They could be losing spots as well, because it's been known for a long time. It's tough to get British D-men.
I would argue
that's
where our weakest position is. We produce forwards. We've only produced 1 Ben O'Connor. Do you know what I mean? Where's our next offensive defenseman that's getting 50 plus points consistently in the elite league coming from? It's not. Let me tell you, you bring in an import D-man, they're going to get 50 points in that National League quarterback and power plays. Be prepared if you see some good level import D-men to come into that league next year. With the way the points were this year, I think there was like something like 65 guys over 50 points this year, which tells you how like much the scoring's up as a whole. You put a good D-man, I don't know, let's say a prime Mindy Kyrgios, get 85 points in that league next year.
Yeah.
85 points, 30 goals, slap shots from the fucking point.
Look at the Cobb weekend.
Yeah.
That's not playoff hockey.
Yeah, it was. That was a crazy weekend.
Yeah,
like one goal
great
games
for the fans.
Yeah,
great for the fans and all those goals. But like playoff hockey was like 1-0, 2-1.
It was 7-6 and 5-4, and it's high scoring game. Great for the fans.
Great, yeah, it looked fantastic. I was only watching just watching the updates on Twitter, but even then, I was like, wow, like people must be loving this.
It was just like Leeds being 3-0 up in the first 3 minutes to then win 5-4, and just there was definite excitement. It's good for the league, and I think the added imports are better for the league. Obviously, we had our friend Mr. Greg Wood on here, and with being a smaller budget team, it does affect teams like Sheffield, which sucks. It does suck.
Yeah.
But for the overall good of the league, I would like to see the import number rise again, personally, to 4. And
it's
that
tough,
might be me being selfish, because I do understand some of these teams, they don't have the resources to do that, and I don't want to see it go to 4 at the detriment of clubs. I don't want to see teams fall away, especially ones that have been there for so long and being part of it, and kept going through the COVID times and cups and all that shit, and like stuck with it. But to get better, we need to bridge the gap. 2 imports, it's fucking nowhere near enough. 3 imports, step in the right direction. 4 would be another step. Where do you see the perfect import number for tier 2 hockey in the UK?
It's tough, isn't it? Because if you're talking to young us, 5 import EPL was unbelievable. Loved it. It was so good. Those games against Guildford and I miss them. I miss those games. They were fantastic. When we had to step down because of the collapse, which was inevitable, right? 5 imports, the gap gets too big. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with the 3. Can the 3-4 teams lower down? Maybe not 4, but those 3 that didn't make it, can they now compete a little bit more, or does it move it further away because your Leeds and your Swindons they get another stud? Because I found early on a lot of teams would just bring in an import in for the sake of import. That, like you said earlier about the goalie, you could have just got a Brit in for the same one, and that was defeating the object, because a Brit could have done the same job, but wasn't getting it because they were paying for the import and they were trusting him to do more. So I think a 3 is a really good place to take it. They've tried and tested 2. Teams like Romford have proved that anything's possible now, from many years being a nothing low down team, to now competing up in that national level. It's proven that 2 works. So now does 3.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Yeah. I
think we're not going to see a massive change to the standings from this year, I don't imagine. Obviously, you lose Basingstoke. So with Basingstoke being gone, I know a couple of the boys are going to go to Bracknell. Vanny's gone back to Bracknell. Do they go with an import netminder? If they chuck an import netminder in with the boys that are going there, and if they manage to keep a hold of Brendan Walcombe, and obviously Dom's going to continue to play, they're going to be a much better hockey team next year. Much better team. Hull potentially signing a couple of lads that I've heard. If they get the 2 lads that I've heard, they're a different hockey team. They all of a sudden look a little bit different. Bristol are only going to get better, and it's going to make the whole league competitive. The extra import, if done correctly, and it's not just like you say, don't just sign an import to sign an import. Make sure it's the right guy. Make sure he's going to make your club better. Make sure he's going to make your lineup better on a nightly basis. Make sure they're going to be well over a point a game, whether they're a D or a forward. Whoever it is, they have to be there and performing. and someone that's a good character. Like, make sure you speak to their coaches, speak to guys they played with, find out that you're going to bring a beauty in. Like, some of the best guys that we've ever played with are fucking Euros.
Yeah.
Some of the like Pinky, Seski, Hugi, Yanni. I could just start rattling off names. Some of the biggest beauties you'll ever meet, and they taught me so much about the game.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the key. That's where your development comes from, is being around those kind of guys. If you're, 16 to 20 and you're training and playing, you're going to learn a lot more from those guys. They've had the experience, higher leagues, better players. Like, that's where your game is going to evolve. So, when the dust settles from all the chaos, everyone knows now, everyone's had their opinion and their word, and it's set now. The leagues aren't changing them. This is what it's going to be. It's now time to kind of embrace it and like, okay, how can we all make this work, rather than, complaining and stuff. Everyone makes their own personal decision. How can we make this work to move British hockey forward? Because with extra foreign, European players, Canadians, whatever, it's only going to benefit the game if we go with them, if the Brits go with them in this journey, rather than kind of removing ourselves and falling back into just kind of the GB comfort zone. Whereas, if the GB men team is going to go back up to the world champs, the junior teams have all got to start pushing up the levels as well.
They have to. It's been poor not getting out of the divisions we're in at the moment. It's really hindering our development. But maybe we're thinking back to like the teams that we had and stuff like that. I don't think they're as good now. This isn't a disrespect. I just don't think the depth's there because they haven't been given as many opportunities as we got at that age. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. But something has to change. I think the people they've got involved with the juniors now are going to make a change. The ozone thing's going to make it change. Mm-hmm. But it's going to take a couple of years to see that that to take an effect. Obviously, Mizey's taking the guys out to do this 3-on-3 under 16 tournament. The Olympic 3-on-3 thing, that's going to be beneficial. But again, that's not going to translate into U18s and U20s for like 3 or 4 years. Yeah. We need something in the meantime, and it needs to happen quick. We need to get out of the divisions we're in and look at promotions and stop celebrating fucking bronze medals.
Yeah.
Like, we're in divisions where it's win or nothing. Like, a bronze medal's is not good. I get it. You're there, you're swept up in there, the pictures go online, mum and dad are proud and that. I'm sorry, it's not good enough. We need to be getting out of divisions that have got fucking Croatia and Romania and Serbia in it. We can't be staying in those divisions. We need to be playing against France, Hungary, Austria, Germany. Mm-hmm. These are the nations, if we want to improve. Slovenia, Slovakia. Like, if we want to improve, we need to be playing against these nations. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to touch puck. But I did it. I played against Germany. We lost 9-3. They had like seven draft picks. It was a lesson. I don't know how we scored 3 goals. I'll tell you that for nothing. But it was a lesson. It was just like, whoa, we thought we were good. No, we're not.
Yeah.
And it was a wake-up call, and it made you work your ass off.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, Tom, I know you've got work. Appreciate your time. I appreciate your time. Awesome. Guys, let us know. Do you agree with Tomo? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Go check out our sponsors, Hurricane e-bikes. But for now, this has been another episode of 4,000 and Counting. We will see you again very, very soon. Peace.